Sure. Let's get to it. So, Raina, how are you?
Good, couldn't be better.
How do you feel coming here?
Just the fact that you guys invited me to be the first guest
Yeah.
means the world to me. I'm so happy we are doing this.
You like being a guinea pig, I guess.
Absolutely. I'm the elder sister, so I was a guinea pig all my life, so I'm just at home.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So basically, we are gonna start with a little bit about you because people know you from the perspective of social media and LinkedIn, whatever they read about you. I heard you've got some marriage proposals from there as well. But apart from that, tell us a little bit about you. What inspires you to do what you do? Because you're very much in the creative field. It's branding at the end of the day. So, what is it that inspires you to do what you do, and what is the essence that you get out of doing what you do?
I think brand consulting as a niche came to me much later. I started out at Symbiosis as a media student, moved to Barcelona, pursued my master's in marketing. So I knew it was always going to be in media. But I think there was this one guest lecture by the global head of marketing at IKEA. And, just her lecture really changed the way I looked at things. That, it doesn't have to start at marketing. You can also work before like a brand has been built, like the human features have been put around a product to make it last longer than the usual product life cycle. And I think just just that one lecture changed everything for me. So when I came back to India and I wanted to start out on my own, that's what I wanted to start around. And it's been 3 years, and I'm so glad I started because the job has been very, very wholesome and giving.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I think like let's take you back more into your college days, and first of all ask like how much were you like into branding and marketing while you were like pursuing this degree, or like was it something that you were just doing for the sake of it, or like did you actually see yourself being a branding consultant in early days when you were like 19, 20, 21?
Right. So I'll be like 100% candid with this. Um, in the 11th and 12th grade, my parents actually paid extra for coaching classes so I could be an engineer and like crack the JE mains in advanced. But I think like 6 months before boards, I sort of put my foot down and said, you know what? All I like to do is like read novels, write, and watch movies and things like that. And I don't think I'll be a very good engineer. So how about you give me a shot and like let me get through like a media school? And at that point of time, I did not exactly know what public relations was, but it sort of seemed like something very manipulate a lot of people. So it just sounded fun.
That's what I thought about marketing as well.
It is right though, but so I really wanted to sort of pursue it. And my father just said, yeah, sweetie, sure, just go ahead. Like, just which is the best college in the country? So I said, okay, like Symbiosis Center for Media and Communication. And he said, yeah, okay, you either get through that or you're getting into an engineering college. So that was the ultimatum I got. Thankfully, I got through my dream college. And I think during college days, we had a very holistic module overall. So I studied everything from like world history to macroeconomics to photography, sound engineering, everything. And that really helped me understand it as a whole. However, I did stick to my specialization. I did it in PR. And after that, I realized that media doesn't pay well. So starting salary was
Okay, but
anything.
we wouldn't say that now.
Yeah.
No, definitely. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you can be a chef and earn 2 crores a month. You can be a podcaster, a YouTuber, and earn millions per
Yeah.
month. And you can be an engineer and not even earn 20K.
Yeah.
So I think that was something that I had to then go through a whole journey and realize for myself. I knew I wanted to stick to my niche. But when I realized that this was the kind of salary that was being offered, I decided that, okay, like I'm going to do what it takes to stick to this industry, gain more knowledge, and ensure that it pays me just as much as tech bros get paid.
Yeah. Well, media is booming right now, especially during the pandemic. People did nothing but consume media. So right now we are, I mean, in that phase where like internet money is actually a term, right? And I think right now was the the biggest part is timing. So what do you think, like how has timing helped you? Because uh like starting at the right time also matters. So that would be one question that I was thinking about, that how has timing helped you, like just being in the time that you started in and all of that stuff.
So I returned to India in 2020. Now, before this, I had a job offer from a tech startup in Barcelona itself. And because Barcelona has a very good, vibrant startup ecosystem, so I could see how, just because we were from Esade, which is considered like the IIM of Spain, we had a lot of these opportunities to consult startups which were owned by ex SRA students. And that really helped me understand that, oh, like this dude is ready to pay a bunch of money so we can sit and test the pricing model of his startup. Right. So there's a space there, right? Yeah. And that was not happening in India at all. We were still very sales centric, except like the big brands in the country. And I felt like, okay, like I don't want to say this, but we do imbibe the West, and we are usually anything between 2 to 5 years behind what happens in the West. And I felt like, okay, if I stayed back in Spain without an understanding of the cultural context, a good understanding of the language, I would best be at a mid management level, right? Yeah. I did not deserve to be at the top, right? Without having grown there, I understand the nuances of the market, the target audience. So I decided, okay, let me come back, use the same rule book, and build in India. Sure, I knew that the number of clients I would get would be way less than if I started like a social media agency or a performance marketing agency, things that I could also have done. But I wanted to build in this because A, there's no deadline pressure. Like you can work at your own pace and deliver results to the client. And B, because if I started out early, now that branding is becoming a thing, everybody's talking about how brand marketing is as important as performance marketing and sales, etc. Now I've already built a portfolio over the past 3 years, which allows me to then charge a premium, which I wouldn't have had if I had started now when things are really coming into place.
You're an early starter advantage.
Yes, I hope so.
So I like see this pattern of you just doing SWOT analysis or like your career. So like you were actually into management from early on, or like you never wanted to make dumb decisions, I guess. Like just do anything very impulsively, and like you wanted a career path which is very crafted. You knew like this was what I want, this is what I like. So mainly for us it was always like we didn't know what the fuck we want to do. We do what we become good at, right? Because I personally did not went through a like whole curriculum of college in my life. So it's like quite hard for me to even think how you guys have pulled that shit off. So I always respect people like who have like done it the way it should have been done. And that's why like even respect your thoughts more than any LinkedIn influencer coming and telling me, bro, you should do this or you should do that, right? So like I now want to ask you like why aren't you just like choosing to work for a very big marketing agency or working like somewhere? Because now you're gonna mostly get paid more than what you're making through your consultancy. We all know that, right? So like why aren't you choosing to like go to a job which would pay you the similar amount of money that you're gonna make right now? But you're rather getting inclined from your Instagram stories, we can see like you wanna build more brands, you wanna do more entrepreneurial stuff, and like what's like the drive there?
I think the first thing is that I grew up as a businessman's daughter. And my father was not the kind who would just come back home and like shut off for the day and just want to like spend time with family. He would still discuss like brick prices and bribery situations and, political situations, stuff like that at home. So growing up, even like passively, we knew that, okay, this is how business is run. But there was never a pressure on me as the elder daughter, like daughter being the operative word here, to build on my own. However, there's that itch, right? You guys know it. Yeah. Like there's that itch. You just can't. Like I know if I go and work for big tech as in the marketing department, I'll probably get paid more than I'm getting paid right now. But there's that itch to build on your own. Like make your mark, create jobs. Do things on your own terms. And if that pays you like a lakh or two less, that's okay, I guess, for now. Also, because in a job, how much will you really rise up the rank? There can only be one CEO of Apple or Microsoft or whatever.
Or
With
only one
yeah,
CMO.
yeah, exactly. But with your own company, you can build one. You can learn from it. You can build 14 more. Create passive sources of income. And to me, just that whole process, it can take like another 60 years, right? I never plan on retiring, but the whole process itself is beautiful. And I like the uncertainty, I guess. And I think that's what one really needs to understand. Are you doing it because media has now glamorized the startup ecosystem, or are you doing it because there's that itch that just does not let you work for us?
Yeah, I get it. So the thing is that I come from a business family as well. Although I was like not raised into it like from an early age, but when I grew up and after I turned 18, I knew I did not have to build on my own. I just knew that because my parents told me that you can come and work at the shop. I actually did an internship at my own business for when I started out. Like when I was 17 years old, I did an internship at my own business, my family business rather. So and I thought, and they wanted me to actually go ahead and be a part of that and did not have to go ahead and do it, but just that itch, that's just that itch, because my mom always taught me to do things on my own, and I think that somehow like gave up, and just that itch just keeps you going. And like I want to know if such a situation has happened with you, where your dad is telling you that, hey, I have this thing, you should come and work with me, how long will you hustle and all of that stuff. And how hard has it been for you to resist that and still go on and do your own thing, like what it takes like to go on and keep doing that to you?
It's sad, kind of. Like, I guess Nanika wouldn't have to suffer 60 hours a day hustling, right?
Yeah.
Trying to build a startup.
Yeah.
And like, you guys again, like, end up working too much also. And
Yeah.
like, Nanika has always been like the opposite. She would never miss anything. The way still like I call myself like a hustler, and I end up missing things in my life, but I have never seen her missing anything.
I did miss a client call 2 days ago though, but
So like yeah, how does the hustle or the drive comes? Like I can understand for myself, I have to take care of my parents and stuff, right? When they get old, so I have that drive. Like I have to make the money that they did not, or like I have to do it for them at least.
yeah.
So like, what's the hustle here?
What
Like,
what does like where does
again,
that
how's
hustle come
this
from?
itch?
That's the thing.
What's this itch?
I always, like, my brother and I always tell our parents that yes, maybe we aren't the kind of family who are like driving like 5 Mercedes cars and like wearing Louis Vuitton belts and like carrying Hermes bags. Uh, we are like upper middle class, and dad had enough money to like send us to good schools, to good colleges, to business school abroad. And while we got everything that we needed to build a good base, we did not have everything we wanted. So there's that itch, right? And of course, it again, there's nothing wrong or right about it. It's just an itch, right?
Yeah.
It's like being bisexual, or just liking pink more than
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
I don't think this is something that is right or wrong, something that you can help. But for me, I want a private jet at some point, maybe, right? And you
I get
can't,
that.
and you will do everything in your capacity. There are other people who are more fulfilled, and I'm jealous of them, to be honest, because oh my god, like what does the word satisfaction mean, right? I'm always beating myself up because I need to earn that extra lakh and invest that extra lakh into something so it gives me some passive income, etc. But I think in the end, it did help to just have a role model to fall back on. My father's father was in service, um, like, and he wasn't, and we weren't. There was no pressure, but of course, I could not join construction as a woman. I mean, of course, there are many women who do it, but I just did not feel like I was that person. So self awareness also comes into play. I needed to do something that fulfilled me, that allowed me to write, allowed me to create, allowed me to do research at my own pace without the whole agency culture of like staying up till like 2 a.m. trying to meet client briefs. That wasn't me. I get very anxious if I do such things. So I built a perfect company that would allow me to experiment with my leadership skills, my money managing skills, my creative skills without putting me on the spot.
Okay, so let's talk about marketing.
Okay,
Should we?
sure.
Okay, so like, how
Cool.
did you start? Who was like, how did you get your first client?
Okay, so what I did is, I think until May 2020, I had a job with a startup in Barcelona. During this time, I was very depressed because this was the second month of the national lockdown, right? And I really wanted to start something. In March 2020, I had a conversation with a person who was an entrepreneur, and he said, Raina, you can't your first idea, your first startup will probably fail. It will not get you the first billion that you're looking for. Maybe you have a high self esteem, you have your ego telling you that, like, okay, you will get to all these crazy places and investors will like just want to touch your feet and like give you their checks, but that's not going to happen. So start small, start with something that you are very aware of, like at a product level. Start with something that doesn't take a lot of money, build slow, learn about yourself, learn what kind of an entrepreneur you are, and then scale up. And very weirdly, I did not know this person enough. I should not have trusted this person's advice, but it just sounded like what I needed to hear. So when I started out, what I did is I got on a call with around 50 freelancers, agency owners, friends, professionals in the media industry, and told them, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to build a brand consulting firm. What do you guys have to say about it? And I got all sorts of feedback, right? From my cousin telling me that the agreement has to be waterproof. Sorry, not waterproof, but bulletproof. That- yeah, because
Like in terms of agreements.
yeah, exactly. Like the more bulletproof it is, the less the chances that you will lose money to the client, right? Or at least they will see like a 13-page agreement and be scared of, going up against you because they think, yes, you know what you're doing. Because I started at 24. It was a little, it was going to be a little hard to be taken seriously. Two other people who said that, oh, sweetie, just go and work for a couple of years, get some experience, and then let's talk again. I got all sorts of feedback. And my dad said that, okay, if after listening to 50 people talk, you still want to build it, then you know you can build it because you have the resilience to still build it. You trust yourself enough. And that's how I started. I think I started with around 2.5 lakhs. And after that, I think I broke even in the first 10 months. And it's been profitable since, thank God. The second thing that you asked, how did I get my first client? So remember those 40 people I talked to? That was word of mouth.
Yeah.
So one of those people who had an urban company kind of startup then connected me with another person who then connected me with his brother, who then connected me with another person. And long story short, I got this Scottish client on board for a whiskey industry company. And that was it. That was my first client 1 month before I had even like launched my company. And that's how it happened.
So
That's awesome.
I'd say that the guy who like gave you the suggestion that you shouldn't start off like that and just build something. Like I think this 5 years of startup journey has taught me that by itself. Like just don't go out doing things that you cannot do yourself. Or else it's gonna be like a journey where you're just trying to manipulate investors to invest in you rather than being confident about the investment. Right? Like you should most probably give me money, I'll make you money, right? So like that confidence kind of comes with that experience and with working tirelessly, actually doing a lot of things. And I guess at this point, whenever you start up, you already have this experience of building hundreds of brands mostly, right? You know how to like get to market. What is the strategy that has worked for people? A lot of industries. And as a creative person, I'd say like we creative individuals kind of like tend to fall into this agency sort of thing because we kind of love working on new ideas, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and we just cannot help that.
No, actually, funny story. When I was a little kid, not that little, like I was 14, 15 years old. And a lot of people at that time were talking about which company they wanted to work in when they grew up in school. And all I could think about is that I want to work with all of these companies. How do I do that? Because I didn't know that back then there was any option. I thought that ultimately the only thing you can do is you can do a job or you can make a small business or that's all. I never thought that making a startup or making a company that's worth millions or is earning a lot and all of that stuff is possible. I did not think YouTube earning money from YouTube was possible back then, right? So from there, when you like live in today's age, when like you're doing things that people think that is not possible. My dad still does not get how I make money. My dad visited the other day. Like, he came and he saw the play, saw my place, and he saw everything I'm doing and all of that stuff. And he was just shocked. He's like, "How is this happening?" Like, he just couldn't. His brain couldn't process how we are earning money just sitting at home on a computer whole day, right? So when you are in that situation where most people just don't get what you do and how you're like making your money, especially when you started 3 years ago, right? So how do you counter with that? Because a lot of people feel discouraged. They feel like they cannot get somewhere because people constantly keep telling them, "Oh, this is not possible," right? Like, you don't have the resources, you don't have the contacts, you don't have the money. How are you going to make this happen, right? So that's something that people keep saying, and it discourages a lot of people. You started, nonetheless, you took the risk, you took whatever money you had and you just put it in straight up. So a lot of people don't get to do that. So what would you like to say for everybody who actually is not able to counter attack all of these stuff that's coming to them, and they're not being able to get over it and actually build what they actually want to build?
Two things. One is that we have to understand that our parents, the previous generation, they are also living their own lives for the first time.
Right.
It's not that they have lived 100 times, so they know all the permutation combinations. What they know is what they've lived through. Our parents are probably doing their best in whatever advice they give us. So if they say, "Oh, what are you doing? I don't understand this. Is this sustainable?" Of course, they're happy that we are earning. But the question is this sustainable?
Right.
I understand, because I can see the previous generation as just victims of their own upbringing. But it's also important to understand that I remember having this conversation with my father where I had brought like a lot of gifts for my family or something, and we were drinking at night, and he was like, "So, like, isn't it hard earning money?" And I said, "No, it actually isn't." And like, thank you so much for going through 20 years of struggle to put us through school and everything. Now it's on us. If you could get us from 0 to 1 crore, it's on us to get from 1 to 100.
Right.
That's on us, because you've taught us everything. So I don't look at people who don't understand what we do. Like, you guys are building something crazy. I am building on something that existed. I don't look at it as like nature defying or anything like that. Times are changing, ideas will change, needs are changing, and it's okay if they don't understand it. But we just have to like go ahead and just show through our bank balances, I guess.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna like make it a little bit informational. I want you to like give a checklist to our fellow branding agency owners who wanna start off, or people who want to like some 18-year-old kid or some 20-year-old kid or some 24-year-old kid,
Yeah.
right? Like
You're always
whoever
a
it
kid.
is. So like, what's the checklist? Like, what you should do? I guess like we already have one.
Just the other
Find
day,
people and call them and ask, you should do that or not.
just the other day, saw a 16-year-old who started his own agency on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Because especially with media, you don't really need formal training.
Yeah.
I think why I went through two very good schools and got my undergrad degree and master's degree is that it allows you to understand everything that is possible. And then when you're executing it, it helps you to choose from it. Whereas when you don't go through the formal degree, you only know what you have already done. And that's where myopia hits. But apart from that, it's okay. And because it's a creative field, as long as you have trained professionals to help you with the structural and the research side of things, let your imagination loose. Like, go crazy with ad campaigns or marketing campaigns or branding or whatever, right? Like, Crocs shouldn't have worked. The product is ugly, the branding is ugly, but it works, right? I mean, to me it is. But that's the thing, it works, right? Because for people like you who defy society, who want to be different, you can now associate with it. And not with the Jimmy Choos and Coco Chanels of the world who are trying to fit you into these shoes which are super uncomfortable but are pleasing to see.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there's always a place for someone, like, as a consumer. If you're building a product, you just need to be super authentic. But yes, like you said, first of all, speak with as many people as possible, because usually that is very discouraging. If it still doesn't discourage you, you have the resilience to go on for another like 3-4 years. Get some money, invest in a very good lawyer, because trust me, watertight agreements have saved
Yeah.
my arse again and again and again.
Bulletproof.
Waterproof, watertight, everything. Like, get the best law consultant you can possibly get.
Yeah.
And then just know that if you, whatever you're going to charge today, there's somebody out there who's more confident than you and charging at least 10 times as much and getting paid for it. Money flows like water today. It's not even cash anymore. It's just a number on your mobile phone app. That's it. That's what money is now. People have the money. If you can just convince them to, like, use it on you and then actually deliver. Otherwise, this will be a short-term gain. And once all of this is done, once you've built what you want to build in whichever sub-sector it is in media, go and brand yourself. Nothing has helped me as much as personal branding has. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm not goody two shoes when it comes to my personal branding. I am me. Like, I'm a feminist. I believe in work-life balance. I'm risk averse. I talk about, the kind of problems I've faced, the kind of victories I've had. I go out there and put up photos of me in like baby hair clips and like pink shoes. But as long as you're authentic, you will have people who like you, because understand that if someone is going to hire you, it's because they don't know how to do it.
Okay, now it's gonna be like asking too much, but I wanna like do something for our viewers and our users.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is like I'll just put up a landing page. You can find the agreements that we use at Sadeh for all the deals that we do. And if you would wanna like make a template for them, if you have then we can like add it and they can like mostly you just put down your email and name, we'd like send it to you over.
Perfect.
So yeah.
And you can get started with making money.
Okay, so what next?
What next was the actual question which a lot of people have been asking, and I completely missed out in this conversation, is that what is the difference between, drum roll, branding and marketing?
Oh god. Oh, this was like the question that you discussed. We should start the podcast with
Yeah.
this.
Didn't happen, but this is a very recent question because I get asked this question a lot by interested clients, by designers, by 1,000 people on a daily basis, whoever I speak with. So yeah, what's the answer to that according to you?
I think, okay, so the first step is branding, right? You need to, because at the end of the day, it's not a human being. Human beings over time, we are babies first, then we learn a certain language based on what our parents speak. We go to a certain school, we are brought up in a certain environment that shapes a lot of who we are. And then we decide to either keep them or unlearn and change things. But with brands, they're basically either abstract digital products or services or like tangible products, but all of it is lifeless. So as a product, you can sell it, but then you're basically China, right? Selling products. But if branding is what you want to do, then the idea is to add feelings to that product. If you think of that particular product, that product has a name. The product looks a certain way. The product wears certain kinds of colors. As far as clothing is concerned, they talk a certain way. They have certain aspirations from life. So when I ask myself, like, what's a good brand? The question should be that, okay, if I think of, say, an Apple phone, I can think about it because they've already created it. But if I think of an Apple house, an Apple furniture, an Apple car, which they have not created, I can still imagine it.
Yeah.
You can still do that. But can you really do that with, say, a smaller brand right now, which has not gone through so many years of branding repertoire? For example, Kimerica, which is a good brand. It's a small brand. But right now, can you really imagine Kimerica as a car? You can't really do that. So the brand still has a long way to go as far as building that huge and that great a brand as Apple is concerned. So that's branding, adding those extra characteristics that help you skip that product life cycle. Because otherwise, like, most companies go up and go down. The ones who stay because they have been able to be more than just the rational benefits they're offering as products. Now, once you've branded it, once you know who you are, then go on stage and scream who you are, or sing it, or dance it, or whatever it is, right? And that's marketing. That's marketing. Then you get to choose which platforms to be in, right? whether you should be on a billboard or like just do a lot of guerrilla marketing. So all of that is how you tell others who you are, right? But branding has to lead to marketing. If you skip branding, you will get a lot of short term benefits and you'll probably make a lot of sales by following trends, following what is working, etc. But if you want to build something that sustains for more than like 2 to 3 decades, then you might as well start investing in branding, brand marketing, and yeah, that's that.
I think like branding is something that's art, which ages.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, like, its value increases if it's done properly.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
And also, like for me, I think branding has just come very naturally because I remember I had taken management at a very early stage. Like I have been studying management since I was 16. So no, 15. Yeah, from the age of 15. Yeah, because I took it in my school and college and everywhere. Like I've just studied that one thing. And in every time, like I studied this particular subject about business, they said that the business is a different identity, right? They always, the first thing they point out is the business is a separate identity, it's a separate person, right? And that's what they keep saying everywhere. And that just hit me. If business is separate identity, separate person, then every business has a personality, right? And I just kept thinking about that from that young age. And that's why branding holds such an important meaning to me when I like started out. And when we started with Sadai branding, I remember like we didn't discuss much about what Sada is gonna do because we pivoted 5 times. We couldn't have discussed it, but we did discuss one thing: is what Sada is gonna stand for. We discussed it that one day that Sada is gonna stand for freedom, individuality, and kindness. And till today, we stand for freedom, individuality, and kindness. Although we are doing completely a different thing, but we. Aww. But we started with exactly that, and that's what branding meant to us. Like Sadeh was a human. The human changed its career path a lot of times, but human is still that human, right? The human doesn't change. So that's basically what branding was for us. Yeah, it learned from all those mistakes. So I think people are connecting their business too much as like a commercial item that gives them money, that gives them their livelihood, that gives them a purpose, and all of that stuff. Yeah, it does all that. All that is great, but they are forgetting one thing, that that business is actually a person, a living, breathing person. Because or else you cannot interact with people. As a business, every day you have to interact with thousands and thousands of users, thousands and thousands of potential customers, and that's how you interact. The business as a person goes and interacts with these people through your website, through your landing pages, through your posts, through your everything. And I think that's basically what branding like stood for us, and that's why we started Sadeh. Yeah. 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 So and also this is going to be the next episode. We are shooting everything in one day, so please bear with us, guys. It's gonna be the same outfit as well. Yeah, it's the same episode. We just bought you in this episode. Yeah. So see, we cried a lot about branding right now. We just wanted somebody to present the marketing point of view, because we have spoke about branding so much that right now it's toxic. So yeah, tell us a little bit about marketing and how is that different from branding in your perspective, and also defend marketing a little bit if you can.
Well, I didn't know that this is a debate between marketing and branding because if for me, marketing and branding are basically they're part of the same coin. So it's like one side is branding, the other side is definitely it's marketing. So branding is an activity which essentially tells a story about what you're trying to market basically. So let's say your product is a phone. So your story must be about why this phone is important to a particular person or why he or she would want to buy this particular phone. That's a brand story. But essentially, what you're marketing and you're generating profits through is by selling the phone. So that is where the difference between marketing and branding comes. So it's not necessary that branding will only generate something which is sales, but marketing is an activity which is totally directed towards maximizing your sales output.
Well, yeah, branding without marketing does not stand. I do
Right.
agree with that. But marketing without branding is just not a thing.
And also on
Yeah.
that note, we are trying to find a good social media marketer. So if you wanna
Yeah.
do some remote work, hit us.
I think branding is the pillar of that marketing that you go ahead with. But without marketing, it doesn't work. It doesn't move product. That's true.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
essentially, branding would help people recall your product,
Yeah.
but marketing is something where you need to know why you made this product for, who you made this product for, and how much will you earn through the product.
So you're basically saying that brand managers are just making your job a little bit more easier.
Definitely. I mean, I can't draw well. They draw well.
Yeah.
So I guess like we are kind of done with Raina's podcast now.
No, we have to close it.
Yeah, we will close it. That's what we are like conversing about, right?
How do you close it?
How
yeah,
do
we
you
will
close it?
close it by
Yeah,
like
somebody needs to
saying-
give a closing piece to camera.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to give a closing piece to camera.
Okay, so Raina is gonna talk about. Okay, I thought
You're
about
going
this-
completely off topic. Can we
Okay,
just
no,
get back
no,
to
no.
the podcast?
I thought about a closing question for our guests.
Yeah.
What you would suggest to someone like from bracket of 20 to 25-year-old to do to earn financial independence as much as you have or have that work-life balance? If they're just studying right now, if they're not studying right now and trying to figure out their life, like what they need to do, they have been like they're done with their college life, and third, someone who's working at a 9 to 5 job.
See, the thing is, I hadn't earned a penny beyond internship stipends until I was 24. And even after I started earning, after paying my employees, I was left with like 7,500 rupees a month for several months before I started earning a lot more. But
Can relate.
but I think what's important is when we were growing up, I remember there was like a 2-hour bracket within which I could use the internet. The internet was seen as evil. Today we know that if you don't know the internet, then you'll have your dadajis and dads come and ask you for help, right? So you have everything you want to know. I don't know what you're good at, right? Maybe you are good at photography, videography, search engine optimization, or just anything. Like maybe you make nice makhana or scented candles. I don't know, but start. The thing is, you'll never know. Ratan is losing his shit here. The thing is, you'll never know till you start, and I think that's what's important.
Just by the way, there is a YouTuber who actually does makeup experiments. She melts like a lot of lipstick, a lot of candle, and creates a thing. No, creates like a collaborated like 500 candles, and she'll collaborate into one candle and make and all of that stuff. And this woman is making a shit ton of money, man. She's making so much money that she's buying 500 lipsticks from Sephora to do a what do you call it? Experiment. You know? Yeah, we should. But before we go, we heard from Raina like what should be the perspective when you're moving into career. It could be anything. It could be branding. It could be making makhna and candles, like you said. Whatever you're good at, right? But now there is one thing is that one thing people find it very difficult is like to get that target audience. Like who is the person who's gonna buy my product, or who's gonna listen to my content, or who's gonna be there for us, and stuff like that. So how do you think you get to
Let us not digress.
articulate your questions.
Yeah,
properly.
can we just reshoot this question, and can you sit back here?
Yeah. Can I move out and he can like come into this shot because he was supposed to close it, not me.
Yeah.
No, it's to just we too closed it. It was funnier.
Well,
Closing it that
we
way.
will see.
We
do
were more
both.
busy about some
We
makhana
will-
bread, which is yet to be made.
Yeah.
Bro, we
both.
should launch a Raina Makhna.
Raina makhna.
Okay.
Miss Makhna, Mr. Makhna exists.
Okay, in
Mr.
that
and Mrs. Makhna.
case, should we do it? Should we launch Raina candles and Raina makhna?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the whole point, right? You don't need a $1 billion idea to start.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled. Just start with anything. These things will cost anything. I mean, you don't even need to have a website. Make some makhnas, put them in some Ziplocs, try
Yeah.
to sell it to some school kids, aunties, dadajis, I don't know. Get some money, make some more. the best of the companies in the world. Like
This is
Bobby
just-
Brown started like
This is
that.
stuff we did in school.
You should figure out how to make like your first $1,000
Yeah.
with whatever the fuck
Your
you're
first
good at.
1,000 rupees in profit. I'm
Yeah.
not even going to talk about dollars. How to make your first 1,000 rupees in profit. You'll get there. Once you get the smell and the high that money gives,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all uphill.
Raina-
Yeah. We just sniff money. You know, we sniff our credit cards. I know, right? We are acing. We are changing what Logan Paul did with Impulsive. Yeah. So yeah, I that's all about it. Thank you so much, Raina, for being here. It was so nice. Yeah, with serious question.
Yeah.
Life is not that
The serious question was about this only. Yeah, Raina heard the question the first time, so she answered nonetheless. And someone is ringing the doorbell. Okay, guys, with that the podcast concludes.